Hello, welcome to the part 3 of print culture and the modern world. So, we have studied about the coming up of the printing press, contribution of Johannes Gutenberg, revolution in the print technology, and all sections of people getting an access. So, the travel of print from China to Japan to Europe and now to India. Johannes Gutenberg's contribution has been immense, no doubt, that has revolutionized the printing technology, making books available to almost all classes of the society. To India, the Portuguese missionaries were the first to bring the printing press to Goa in the mid 16th century. The first books were printed in Konkani language. By 1674, about 50 books had been printed in Konkani and Kannada language. Catholic priests printed the first Tamil and Malayalam books in 1579 and 1713, respectively. From 1780, James Augustus Hickey he began to edit the Bengal Gazette, a weekly magazine that described itself as a commercial paper open to all, but influenced by none, because the English had all the priority of it. It was private English enterprise, proud of its independence from colonial influence, that began English printing in India. Hickey published a lot of advertisements, including those that related to the movement of slaves, movement of trade, and many more. He went a step ahead and he published the gossip of the company's senior officials in India. This act of Hickey, this act of Hickey was enraged, and the Governor General Warren Hastings persecuted Hickey and encouraged the publication of officially sanctioned newspapers that could counter the flow of information. Any kind of information that could damage the colonial government they could not accept, and so they had a control. This control of the government on the freedom to print is called as censorship. From 1780, James Augustus Hickey, who began to edit the Bengal Gazette, it was the first weekly Indian newspaper brought out by Gangadhar Bhattacharya. Hickey also published a lot of the discussions which were going on between the senior officials. So, this was the cause for the punishment which he had to seek. That kind of freedom was not given. This is a Bengal Gazette. Warren Hastings encouraged the publication of officially sanctioned newspapers to protect the image of the colonial government. They never wanted any kind of criticism. There were many such writings which could influence the women and other sections of the society. Like there were many reformers, the social and religious reformers, there was so much of controversy which was going on in the society. The stereotypes, age old practices, the orthodox society, the atrocities done on women, the widowhood, widow immolation, monotheism, the Brahmanical society, its hierarchy, the Brahmanical priesthood, idol worship. There were so many things which were disliked by the people, and the intellectuals who traveled to different countries, They saw that there is absolute freedom, equality, and justice which is practiced in other countries. So, Rajaram Mohan Roy was one such pioneer and a revolutionary, we can call, one who tried to reform the society. Pandita Ramabai, Jyotiba Phule, Periyar Ramaswamy Naikar, Ambedkar, the man who made the society, the architect, we should not forget all these reformers who brought about a change by their writings. Rajaram Mohan Rai published the Sambad Kaumudi from 1821. Samachar Chandrika, Samachar Chandrika to oppose his opinions. Hindu Orthodox Society commissioned the Samachar Chandrika to question his ideology. From 1822, two Persian newspapers were published, Jame Jahanama and Samsul Akbari. Samsul means complete. In the same year, Gujarati newspaper Bombay Samachar came into existence. And coming to the Muslim ideology, the Muslim reformers, the religious scholars, the legal scholars of Islamic body, the Muslim publishers, they didn't want the Muslim dynasty to collapse. Therefore, they feared that the colonial rulers may encourage controversies and conversion. Their religion is a threat. So, they used cheap lithographic presses and published the Persian and Urdu translations of holy scriptures and printed the religious newspapers. And the Deoband Seminary, founded in 1867, it published thousands and thousands of fatwas, that is, the pronouncement or the declaration of the Muslims, what they have to follow, what they have to follow, ought to follow the religious declarations. So, this could give them the legality of their religion, and one has to abide by it. So, conversions into any other religion, impact on women, impact on tender minds, these all were happening because of the writings. There were many women who were deprived, and some of the greatest women who did not have an opportunity to read, but still they could make their lives appeal to the rest of the world. That was a really extraordinary thing which has happened in the society. Ras Sundari Devi, the lady who did not get an access to read, in the Orthodox family, a girl who was married to the Orthodox family and who read secretly in her kitchen and made herself knowledgeable. She wrote her own autobiography. It was one of the first full length autobiography published in Bengali language, and that autobiography describing her own life, Amar Jiban. Jiban is Jivan in Bengali. Her own life, the problems of Indian women and their restrictions by the society. There were many women. Kailas Basini Devi, another Bengali woman, wrote books highlighting the experiences of women, how they were imprisoned at home, how they remained ignorant. They could not get the access to education. They had to toil hard, do the domestic work, unjust rules, discrimination everywhere. Pandita Ramabai, Tarabai Shinde, Rokeya Hussain, Begum Rokeya Hussain, All these great personalities have reformed the society. Some of them constructed and made the education accessible to the girls. Some of them constructed the home for the women, widows who were removed from the home. And not to forget the great role of Periyar Ramaswamy Naikar, Narayana Guru, who gave the mantra Oru Jati, Oru Matam, Oru Daivam, Manushyam. We all are one. That message was given by him. These all people created the access of print to the poor people. Cheap and small books were brought to the markets in the 19th century, and in Madras towns, public libraries were set up, and expanding access or reachability of books to the common people. Libraries were now located mostly in cities and towns, but the common people were also having access. Jyotiba Phule, the Maratha pioneer of the low caste, protested the movement, wrote about the injustice which was happening to the people, and this injustice he has related in his book Gulam Giri. B.R. Ambedkar, he wrote about the temple entry movement, atrocities, his own life is example, and how he got access. He reformed the society along with the other pioneers and brought about all this change which is happening in our country today. The downtrodden who did not get the access to the rights, no drinking water, no public facilities, deprived and kept isolated in the society. Books written for the workers, books written for the poor and the subjugated, like Kashi Baba, a Kanpur mill worker, wrote and published Chote or Bade Ka Sawal, the difference between the rich and the poor, in 1938. Sachi Kavitaएं, real poems and stories, were written where the workers and the low class society could get to their lives acquainted with these real stories and how they can find a solution for their livelihood. And this how the print culture had an impact on the common man. These religious reformers brought the social life, religious life, and political lives of these people in correlation with the issues and provided them the solution and come out of the clutches of the orthodox society and struggle to live a free life, ask for justice, march towards the freedom. Rajaram Mohan Roy. The Hindu Orthodox Society criticized his books, and we have studied about the Persian newspapers, Jame Jahan Nama, Samsul Akbari, and the newspapers Bombay Samachar at Gujarat. These all were published, and the religious newspapers. Deoband Seminary was founded in 1864. All these were available to the people, which was affordable. Bringing highlight of Hinduism, Tulsidas Ramcharit Manas created the reach of the religion to the common man. From 1880, the Naval Kishore Press at Lucknow, at Sri Venkateswara Press in Bombay, published many more religious texts in the vernacular or the regional language so that the common people could read and understand. Now, printing of the religious text, religious debates, social debates, political debates, everywhere people were having access. New forms of publication came into existence. There began new section of writers and also new section of thinkers, and there were lyrics available, short stories available, essays available, documentaries available, and even autobiographies describing the lives of the great personalities. Everything is now available with the print technology going digital. I mean, through the pictorial information. Raja Ravi Verma, one of the greatest painters of all time. Ravi Verma, great song in Telugu. Raja Ravi Verma has described the print through images, and these images very beautifully painted. The work of Ravi Verma was appreciated. There came up in 1870s the caricatures or the cartoons, which made a mockery or joke or criticized, and these caricatures have made the cartoons and were published in the journals and newspapers. They commented so many social and political issues that were questioned. Women and print, we have seen the greatest contribution of so many women who tried to impact the lives of the common man. They talked about the education at home. They talked about the rights which are not enjoyed. They talked about the parda system. They talked about the girls' restriction to go to the school, the religion which has kept them subjugated, raising questions for all this in almost all the religious texts, in all the languages: Urdu, Tamil, Bengali, Marathi, questioning the culture of this. And the poor people who were subjugated, kept downtrodden, not enjoying liberty, rights. All this was the helplessness of the people. They were able to understand their misery and plight by reading, getting themselves acquainted, and they wanted liberty, they wanted prestige for their ideas, and they started asserting their views. Print and the censorship, we know that during Charleston time in 1830 in France, the freedom of press was not available. Same time during the same period in India, in rest of the world also, there were acts passed. The Vernacular Press Act was passed in 1878, which has prohibited the printing of the different sections giving ideas on socialism, on justice, on political thought, making the people to think. For example, the Punjab revolutionary Bal Gangadhar Tilak, the man in his, the great legend in his Kesari, has given the spirit of national consciousness, which made the people to think and introspect. These measures, which were taken by the colonial government, Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak, these measures, which were taken by the colonial government to stop the freedom of press, was not allowed. People resented against this. They still circulated their ideas, made a demand for their extensive rights and having their editorials published. Whoever published these aspects, columns, writings, they were punished. Their writings were called as seditious, one which is provoking the section. They were warned if they still continue, their printing press was seized, their machines were confiscated and taken away. So today, in spite of so many subjugations, atrocities, democracy, the exemplary form of government, the government which has replaced all other types of government, has given the freedom of press. The press can print what is truth today, and that printing press has given the weapon to the people to express their opinion. Freedom of thought, expression, faith, belief, and worship, and we are expressing our opinion through this press, maybe verbally, maybe orally, or any other means. This presentation was made by my student Ram Charan Gaud, my own class student. I take delight in explaining these concepts and learning by doing so. Children, I have given all the topics of history and coming up with two more in geography, and with that, this year's syllabus we will be ready. Then the material, study material, we shall discuss. Thank you so much. God bless you all.